Well, hello everyone. My name is DieHard. As soon as people start rolling up all up in here, I'm going to retweet that because it looks good. Got my phone already going off. Fire up my Ask FM account. I suppose we momentarily wait. I give you guys a song because we all like songs. So yeah, we'll listen to this one for right now. Well, I guess since that's all said and done now, I guess we go to what I was doing earlier. Yeah, I was driving around and this picture. So this is going to be the new background for the podcast. Just because it looks cool and I like it. Whoop, too far. There we go. I like it. I think it looks weird because there's like this shiny effect around the corner there. So I should probably Okay. So a lot of people kind of have some questions. Right? Got some questions. Is DieHard really gone from the CAW community? Yes, I am. I'm gone. I went away. Went far, far away to never, ever return. Actually, hold on. I'm going to turn my microphone up a little bit because I want you guys to make sure that you hear it very, very clearly. So just wait for me. So I don't know. My computer's been like, shit. Oh, you want to render videos in 720p and do it really fast? You can't do that anymore, DieHard. There we go. Maybe. Okay, there we go. All right. So I'm going to put a little bit of boost on that. I think that'll definitely be a lot better. Yeah, look at that. Voice is all nice and pretty. So anyways, what is my podcast going to be about? It's just going to be a general podcast. Okay? Talk about anything. Music, games, people, more people, less people, whatever people. Now, I am going to take questions, and you can submit your questions to my Ask FM account. It's ask.fm/the1DH, which is the same as my Twitter handle. If you don't know that by now, then you probably shouldn't be, following me or anything like that. And Darkside Kicker says, looks like he's found an old guy, and it just came to my Twitter. And I'm very flattered that DSK said that. He's one of my favorite people that, is from the community that I never had a problem with, and I always liked that dude. But I want to address the elephant in the room. So I went on Twitter yesterday, and I saw, was it, I don't even remember where I saw it from. Something about TXW coming back. And I was like, I just kind of chuckled, right? I don't care. Like, whatever. It's whatever. And Shannon said that he wasn't having a leadership role, that he was only wrestling and stuff like that, which is cool. No problem there, no worries. It doesn't faze or bother me at all. But, and then people, kind of jumped on his shit for it. And I'm not defending Shannon because me and him don't get along. We're not friends. But yeah, so everybody was jumping his shit about it. And then I noticed people I don't know, can you guys read that Ask FM thing? Because it looks like it's got, I don't know, I might have to make a new one that doesn't have the white outlining it. But anyways, so people were jumping his shit, really getting all over him for it. And then, of course, the cause meme dude, person, it thing, whatever he is, started doing his making his memes about TXW or whatever, and I was just kind of like, what? And so the elephant in the room, hey, if they come back and if they do their thing, more power to them. Good luck, I guess. I don't know. I'm very happily, I quietly stepped away. After my disc broke the second time, I got a new disc and I got my disc tray fixed, but I don't have any interest to really get back into it, because every time I do, something goes on with my Xbox. It breaks something or something gets all messed up, and I'm just like, you know what? Not even going to deal with it anymore. And honestly, it's really fun. And plus, now I get to focus on my music. If you've been following my YouTube channel, you saw I got my new Epiphone Les Paul custom. I've got my new PV Viper or PV VIP 3, the 100 watt with my $220 foot pedal, which is pretty cool. And I don't know, I really like doing. I've been having a lot of fun playing on my guitar the past forever now, and the amp and stuff. I love the sound I'm getting from it. But I'm finishing up my cigarette. And for those of you that don't know, fun fact, DieHard has smoked cigarettes since I was 14, so it's been forever. And I'm looking at this picture of me in my car, and the back window kind of goes sideways onto my face. It looks weird. It makes this little weird mirage effect. I don't know if you guys could see it or not, but I chose this picture because it makes me look a lot younger than I actually look. Because I normally look kind of old. I ain't gonna lie. I've not aged well after I turned 18. But as I just saw this picture that Darkside Kicker posted. I got to retweet that because that just looks. I love that the picture I posted. He drew some wrinkle lines on my forehead, and it's funny because in the picture you can clearly see I have wrinkle lines, but yeah. So, what is the podcast going to be about? Music, games, fun, all kinds of fun, and I'd like to keep doing this consistently. It's not just based on wrestling. I know this channel was based off of the wrestling show that I was doing and stuff like that, and some people that said that they left were like, oh, I'm doing this project, oh, it's a big project, I'll make a hype video in 2 weeks about it or whatever. I'm not doing that. I'll be straightforward with you. I have 2 more shows coming up that have me on commentary, and that is that's on Extinction. Those are the only 2 shows. And those are the only 2 more times you're going to hear Christopher Billings on commentary. The next, if you ever hear him again, it'll be a show that I put together, which the likelihood of that happening is slim to like barely none, because I just I'm always going to be a wrestling fan as long as I live. I'm always going to love wrestling. I was born on it. So I don't know. It's hard to not want to be involved in it. Like, I'd be lying if I said I didn't miss it, but because I do, I miss it very greatly sometimes. But then I think of what I'd have to do it again, and it's just not worth it for me. It's just something that I don't want to do anymore. I mean, as cool and as fun as it is to make your own show, write out the storylines, do all the recording and this and that, there's a lot of additional problems that come into play. And when you have a family and stuff, it's harder. It's harder to really get to do what you want to do, because at the end of the day, you've got to take care of your business out in the real world, as people say it. And so that's kind of one of the reasons. And it's very time-consuming. It's literally one of the most time-consuming things I have ever. And also, I got a new Ask FM thing. So if you guys want to submit questions, I'm just going to put that up there. Yeah. Oh, I got to size it. I'm doing all this from XSplit on the fly. This was kind of like a spur-of-the-moment decision to start doing a podcast again, so I do apologize. But boom, now you can read it better. Look at that. Boom. Dun 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 dun. I'm like the Terminator. Dun 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 dun. I guess I should have called myself Terminator then, huh? Instead of DieHard. That might have worked a little bit better. I don't know if I like it like that. I don't know. We'll see how this podcast goes, if it stays like that or if it gets moved again. I already don't like it. I'm going to move it back. All you guys see is it just moving on your screen going, what the hell? You guys are probably thinking I'm not, ready, but I was ready. I have topics to talk about. But anyway, so the elephant in the room, the TXW thing, if they come back, good luck, People were like, oh, they're all going to be in their own little shell sucking on whatever. Hey, sometimes that's the best way to do it. I'm just saying. You don't have to worry about people's BS. Just the people that are in there. Just their crap. That's all you got to worry about. You don't got to worry about anything else. So I doubt any of them are going to watch this. But if they do, hey, I am just telling you right now, stay to yourselves. It works better that way. Don't worry about appeasing other people, because people are so finicky and they can't ever make up their damn minds if they're happy or if they're sad or yada, 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 and, things like that. And, yeah, I know. If you noticed, yeah, I'm changing the color of the podcast thing. Oh, yeah. But, anyway, so it's it's a tough thing to do the cause show thing, because there's a lot of people out there that you would want to be on your show, or maybe people you don't want to be on your show, and you got to decide, hey, do I want to give this guy a shot? Do I not want to give this guy a shot? That's actually something I want to talk about tonight. And this is something that's bothered me since, I don't know, probably since 2010 or 2011, right about the time when people started jumping from show to show to show to show. You know, because I've always been a big fan of loyalty. You know, you show loyalty to the person who brought you to the dance. You know, you give them the respect. You know, to me that speaks volumes. But there's a lot of people that don't look at it like that, and that's their prerogative, that's their viewpoint, and they're more than welcome to their viewpoint. However, people like A.C. Arthurs, okay? Everybody loved A.C. Arthurs when he was really popular and stuff, and he's faded away doing his wrestling, his real-life wrestling thing and working and his place and stuff, and props to him for getting everything in check. But, you know, like A.C. Arthurs, like, nobody wanted to give him a shot. Nobody. Like, I didn't even want to give him a shot when he first joined TPP. I was like, I don't really think this dude's going to go anywhere. And then he ended up, like, getting really popular, which is cool, you know, but he started in TPP. I'm sorry, TPP was before AOW, and it was before TXW, so he started in TPP. The same can be said about James McKay. He was in RSG. He got denied from PWR. He applied to TPP. We did a tryout with him. The same day he did his tryout was the same day my car got totaled. The same day. So when he went from getting denied in PWR, he was probably just going to go back to just doing RSG, but he applied for TPP, got in, and he instantly got pushed. Instantly. Orion James, he's one of the few people that aren't afraid to admit their past, their history, or where they came from. You know, like he was in RCWE, and then he came into TPP, and to this day he still puts, you know, former TPP Adrenaline Champion, which is cool. But you know, it just kind of irks me a little bit. I guess it's always irked me when people say that, because when they're there, they're like, "Oh, this is the best ever," you know, "Oh, this is so great," and then if something doesn't go their way, or if somebody gets in their ear, all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, well, I don't know, let's just scratch that from the history books." That's why for me, I've always been DieHard, and I've always been TPP DieHard. There's never been much of a fluctuation or difference. When I was in 5-Star Championship Wrestling in 2011 for like 3 months, when me and Nash were doing that, I did... Well, no, I was still TPP. I was still like TPP DieHard, so it was still the same. It wasn't different. It was still the same me, and I didn't try to hide the fact that I was running TPP or anything. I was like, yep. I was like, TPP DieHard, just the way it is. I have a firm belief that you should stand behind what you believe in, and that's why when I see people get on board for these new shows, and then, you know, I just noticed your comment, but I stopped streaming for a little bit. But it was actually for like 3 months I stopped streaming for. I love that still image though. But as I was saying, I like the new shows when they come out, because they get all that hype behind them, and they get all that, you know, all that energy, and people are like, "Oh, this is going to be different this time," or something along that line, and then all of a sudden, boom, dead. Completely dead. Just dies off. Either after the first episode, or the second episode, or maybe the fourth episode, or heaven forbid if they make it past 6 episodes. And that's something else I want to touch on too. I'll touch on that in a minute. But yeah, so, you know, like 6 or maybe 11 episodes, 10 episodes. 10 seems to be the problem. And they always call it like X. They call it show name X. Show name X. Don't call it show name X. You know, whatever your show name is. You know, like NGC Downfall X. Don't call it Downfall X. RWU. Oh, wait, no, they didn't make it to 10. CCE X or whatever. Meltdown X or whatever it was. I mean, sure, using the Roman numeral 10 is cool. Don't get me wrong. Like, who doesn't like just an X? I wish I had a big X font. I just put it right up on my XSplit, but then it put an X over my face, and that's not what I want to do. I don't want to X my face. So, yeah, X's are bad, okay? Even in real life, X's are bad for the most part. That's why they're your X. Yeah, see? A little bit of play on in real life there. But yeah, so all these new shows, when they come out, they get a lot of hype behind them, and people are all like, oh, this show's going to be great, ... while it lasts. And when I saw that on the Tiger Pro hype video thing they did, I'm sorry, guys, but I had to laugh because it's true. Like, it looks phenomenal. You know Eno took his time doing the stuff that he does. That dude just works wonders when he does stuff. He just, like, the first episode of PWR was beautiful. The graphics were amazing. They were next gen graphics on a previous gen game. Things like that. But it makes you wonder, at what point, when is stuff going to start going south there? I mean, maybe things already have. We don't know. Nobody knows except for those involved. I hope that it doesn't. But I've got to agree with the majority here. How long will it last? Is it going to last longer than one episode? Is it going to last longer than 6? Is it going to last longer than 10? We don't know. We just do not know. But when you put combustible elements together, you usually get an explosion of some sort. So, leading into what I had mentioned earlier, the make like 10 episodes an accomplishment. I'm sorry, but 10 episodes is not an accomplishment. In no way, shape, or form is putting out 10 hours of video, okay, if you do 1 hour each. We'll figure 2 hours for your pay-per-view CPV type event, so we'll figure 12, maybe 14 hours, okay? That's not, yeah, it's an accomplishment. It's a feat to do that consistently, it is. But it's not like a super-duper lock-the-door accomplishment. I'm sorry, it's just not. Because I've seen many places go many more shows. I'm not even saying TPP, although we did make it to 50 some odd episodes in 2011, just saying. And then we did 30 last year, and the only reason we stopped this year, disc break. But so I don't know, it bothers me because when people say, "Oh, I did 7 episodes. I'm a success." No, you're not. I'm sorry. If you're doing 6 episodes here and 6 episodes there, and you're trying to like conglomerate them all together and say, "Oh yeah, this is an accomplishment." That's why when people like Cameron Bash, he started giving tips for CAW shows, right? I'm sorry, but if I was just starting out a CAW show and I saw how many different shows you had been a part of that went down after 6 or 7 episodes, maybe 10, I'm sorry, but I would just turn and run the other fucking way. I wouldn't watch your video. I wouldn't be like, "Oh, this guy knows what he's doing. He's been on 4 to 5 different shows that have only made it to 4 or 5 different episodes. So, yeah, I'm going to watch this guy because he knows." What, is there something on my forehead?
Looks like you got a spot on your forehead.
Yeah, I know. It looks like my face is... I'm on my podcast, Melinda. But anyways, so if I'm not saying I'm going to make a video for people that run CAW shows because I've told people numerous times what to fucking do. You want to know what you do? Get a small group of close personal friends that you trust. Not so much as trust with your YouTube channel unless, you've got some type of monetary type deal with them, like what I had with Jordan, in 2012. I contracted him to me, so he had full access to my YouTube channels. But yeah, I wouldn't go out and make videos saying, "Oh, this is how you make a CAW show work." It's just not the way it is. Sure, graphics are beautiful. Graphics are really nice. Sim gameplay is really cool. Competitive gameplay can be cool to an extent. I'm sorry, but if you enter like a video game tournament for like WWE, I mean, I know they don't really have them, but if they did, I'm sorry, but they're not going to do it in a simulation-based environment. It's going to be a competitive-based environment. Winner takes all. Anything goes except for in-game glitches. You won't be able to exploit an in-game glitch, which they'd have a referee there to, monitor what's going on. That's the way it is. So a show can be competitive. A show can be simulation. It doesn't matter. It's all down to the eye of the beholder, the person who watches it, and that's the truest form of, I don't want to say entertainment, but it's like the truest form of entertainment because it's all about how you perceive it. Because, fun fact, back in 2013, yeah, last year, it was Bryson versus Damian Gamer at Urban Warfare. Okay, that match, although it played out beautiful in the steel, maybe was it Urban Warfare? It might have been Blood and Glory. I don't know. I think it was Urban Warfare. But, yeah, it was Urban Warfare. At Urban Warfare, Bryson, Damian Gamer in a steel cage for the Internet Championship. The match flowed so well. But, you know, the funny thing is, when I was playing as Bryson and when Sinister Smiles or Suey, Suicide Kid, Jamie Hall, James Levi Smith, you know, my boy from Florida, when we were playing that match, we played it competitive. But yet everybody said that was like one of the best matches of the night. What's up with that? You said the best match of the night was a competitive match. And then the following match that we did, Jerry Graham and DieHard, that was completely simmed. You guys said, oh, that was the best match of the night. Make up your minds. Which one was the best? Was it competitive or was it sim? You got to make your decision here because you confuse me when you say you want sim gameplay, but then some of your favorite matches are the competitive matches. What's up with that? Makes no sense to me. And so back to what I was getting at about Cameron Bash. He's putting out the series for CAW shows or whatever. I'm sorry, but dude, if I was just starting out a CAW show, if I'd never done it before, I had no idea of any footing, I wouldn't go look into your videos to go, man, I should really, really do this. Man, I should really do that because then I'll make it 6 episodes and I'll get like 400 or 500 views on my videos. Cool. You know, I don't care how many people watch my shows. I could give a rat's ass less. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter because the WWE ads, like the gaming ads that you get for wrestling shows, they just don't they don't add up to what I would make with a song, for example. I did The Black is Day, which was a song I wrote long time ago. That song, the ad impressions on that are like fucking like $20. You know, and compared to like a wrestling show, which is usually about 4 or 5, maybe you can get around $10 CPM. You know, just depending. It depends on you and how good you do it, and you know, depends on the ads, of course. But yeah, that's one thing I've noticed is the wrestling shows take more time to, you know, put together. The ad revenue that you get from them is lower. And it's just the way that YouTube is, and, you know, ad sales teams are. It's just the way that they are. You know, video game content will never get nearly as much ad revenue as what something that you record on your own, not using a third-party piece of equipment, which I'm not saying, like, I'm not referring to the capture card as a third-party piece of equipment. I'm referring to the console port or the console portion of it. So, like, when we were doing TPP, we recorded it on the Xbox 360. And then I recorded it through my AverMedia, and then edited it, put it together, commentated. The time it takes to put together a show can be really short or really, really long. It's up to you as a person who's running a show. Now, I've been involved in the wrestling stuff for forever, literally forever. I met Chris Jericho when I was 10, and from that day, I was like this. I mean, before that, I was a really diehard wrestling fan. Like, I watched the Montreal Screwjob live on pay-per-view. Like, I watched it live, and I was like, I couldn't believe it. I remember I looked at my dad. I was like, Dad, this has got to be fake. And he goes, no, this isn't fake, son. And I was like, no, this is fake, Dad. This has got to be fake. You know? And I already knew wrestling was scripted, but I was like, there's no way Bret Hart's really leaving, you know? And then he, you know, I was just kind of like, whoa, you know? And then when I met Jericho, I was just kind of like, dude, you're my favorite wrestler. And, you know, he had the whole long ponytail hair at the time because he was still in WCW. And, you know, and so I've always been a big, avid wrestling fan. And when I started playing the wrestling games online back on the PS2, you know, with the original SmackDown versus Raw, I was like, man, this is pretty fun. I get to play online against people to see who really is the better man or whatever, or woman, or whatever gender you are, male, female, transvestite, transgender, whatever. It was fun. I met a lot of really cool people, and like I've said before, I've met really, really cool people, and I've met some real pricks, some real suck the life out of you, take you for everything you got people. I've met those people. I've worked with those people. It's a matter of how you control the situation when you're involved in that type of situation, because a lot of people, they get faced with the situation of, I want to be popular, because everybody wants to be popular. I mean, I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to be popular, because if you don't want to be popular, then what are you doing? You know, that's the thing. Everybody wants some type of recognition. It's just the way it is. People need or want that recognition. I'm loving this. DSK I'm not like looking right at my Twitter feed, so I'm seeing stuff afterward, but the chimichanga man. but yeah, so like it's tough, because there's a fine line, I hate to say this, because in the video game world, morals have they should have no bearing when it comes to morals in a video game environment. But that word gets thrown around a lot, and sometimes people take it a little bit further than the video game. So there's a very fine line that you can cross or not cross as you are playing the wrestling games online. You can be yourself, keep all your integrity intact, mind your own business, do your own thing, or you can try to get in with the cool kids, the cool crowd, or the popular crowd, or whatever. And then at that point, you're kind of starting to cross that line, because then you're given the opportunity to work with people that you may not have gotten to work with under normal circumstances, but in doing so, you risk your integrity, because you may have to step outside of your comfort zone and say things about that person or about a person that you don't necessarily agree with, or things of that nature. And I've seen it happen before. It's happened to me. People have done it to me. They literally, instead of attacking me, they attacked pictures of my wife and my son, who, by the way, my son is going to his green belt now, and we just dropped the money for his weapons in his taekwondo and stuff. So yeah, he's doing his whole karate thing still, and he really likes it. And but yeah, so what they did was they attacked my family instead of attacking me. They couldn't get to me directly, so they took the instant hot button, and they knew it was the instant hot button. If you have a family or people that are very, very close to you, and those people get attacked in whether verbal or any type of way, it's the instant hot button. And I think Monroe and Verdi said it best on their little behind the mask interviews they did. And then if Verdi hears this, I don't want him to take this. I don't want this to be taken out of context. But he's right. He wouldn't say those things in real life, because Brent Delavine wouldn't say those things in real life. Cameron Bash wouldn't say those things in real life. Monroe wouldn't say those things in real life. And you want to know why they wouldn't say those things in real life? Because they know for a fact that whoever they said it to would fucking kill them. I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to go out and kill Max Morrison. I'm not saying I'm going to do that, but I'm saying if he had came right to my face and said that, he would not have made it home. It's just the way it is. That's real life. You don't, like, a lot of people can be tough guys on the internet. They can be real tough on the internet. They can hide behind anonymous AskFM accounts. They can make anonymous Twitter accounts and call themselves Cause Meme. They can make anonymous YouTube accounts. They can make anonymous Xbox accounts. They can make anonymous Skype accounts. Anonymous everything. But when it comes to real life, they don't have the cojones to really say what they typed. And that is what separates so many people from so many people. Because if I was to go out of my way and say, you know, here's an example. Dark Side Kicker is a fucking faggot. And if I meant it, like I love DSK. He's awesome. People give him grief for all kinds of shit, but he's just, to me, we've always been really cool. And I promised him a match like 3 weeks ago, and my disc broke, and I never did the match with him. I'm sorry, Darkseid, if you watch this, I'm sorry. But if I was to mean what I say, if I say something hurtful about Darkseid, you bet your ass, if I ever saw him in real life, I'd say it right to his face. That's the way I am. I'm more of a personal person. I would much rather attack them in real life instead of through the internet. And I did read a funny story, though, about people that were making memes about some girl or something. Like, they got felony charges for, like, harassment. I didn't even know you could get felony charges for harassment. So for those of you that do make memes, memeing people, keep that in mind. I'm not going to turn somebody in for that. I mean, I was tempted to do it back in December because, I mean, you fuckers were just caking that shit on thick. I just wanted to reach through my screen, grab you by your scrawny little fucking necks, and just squeeze until your faces turn blue. Just being honest. I'm an honest guy. I've always been an honest guy when it comes to that stuff. But I've always stood by my convictions. I've always stood by what I said. And that's why I was able to quietly just leave the community. I was able to do it. And I'm okay with that. I'm like, sure, I mean, am I a little sad? You know, am I going to miss making my shows? Yes, of course I will. I'll miss spending numerous hours working on shows. I'll miss the end product. I won't necessarily miss all the time it takes in between, the journey of it, but I will miss the end product. I will always miss that, but I have 50 some odd episodes on the old TPP channel. We got 30 episodes on the Frontline channel. We got 20 or 30 on the TPP2K channel back when we first started that channel, or when I first started that channel. So, I mean, I've got plenty of old TPP stuff to watch. I've got hours upon hours of old vintage DieHard to watch. Okay, I've got plenty of it that I can watch. So, as much as I may miss it, I won't miss it. I'll just miss watching the finalized product in a live stream with people and trying to be excited about what's going to happen next. That is what I'm going to miss. Because the interacting with people is so fun. It's so fun. You get to be in that zone, and you get to be like, man, this is so fun. And a big shout out to Power Wrestling, because for people that don't realize this, you know, everybody's getting really supportive of like RTG and stuff, and Extinction, and even Terradome, which, you know, it just celebrated its 50th episode a few days ago. But yeah, you guys, like, I'm kind of glad that I stepped out. Because at least when I stepped out, you guys stopped giving so much fucking grief to Fifth Animal. You stopped giving so much grief. So thank you for stop being assholes in that sense. You know, thank you very much for that. Because, I mean, you guys were, like, conveying this hatred towards them when half of you guys are, like, closet fans. I mean, how the fuck are you going to know what's going on their show unless you're watching it? I mean, seriously, let's think about that for a second. Just like when people would message me that fucking hated me, that I don't say their names anymore because it's pointless to do it now. It doesn't do me any good. How exactly did they know what was going on in TPP if they don't watch the show? How was it that in 2000 and at the end of 2011, right before the Rumble, we had Samararo in TPP, okay? He was kind of running things then alongside me. How was it that people said they hated me? They fucking hated me. They loathed me. They wanted me to jump off I remember I got an Xbox message one time. It said, I wish that you would jump off a bridge and fucking die. Really? Jump off a bridge? What if there's water underneath? What if I'm a strong swimmer. What if I was able to hold my breath long enough to get back above water? You know, catch my breath. Then I wouldn't die. I might have a couple of broken bones, but I wouldn't die. But how is it that that same person was able to say that to me and then say, oh, you're just going to keep the TPP title around your waist? I wasn't even the TPP champion. I have not held my company's championship as DieHard or as any of my characters since 2011. The end of 2011. December 21st, 2011. Over the limit. Jordan Moore versus DieHard. The TPP championship. That was the last time I was the TPP champion. I'm just saying. So when somebody comes to me and says, oh, well, you're just an arrogant prick, your show's all about you. When has my show been all about me? I mean, yes, in 2010 it was all about DieHard. I ain't going to lie. I surrounded myself with competitive players that I was better than. I think that we would all admit that. At that time, none of us would admit that because everybody wanted to be the best. But I was clearly the best guy in TPP. I had the title to prove it. I was constantly defending it. Although consequently against the same people, but it's just the way it is. And when I did drop the title in early 2011, the guy I dropped it to intentionally just did not work out. I don't know, he was a cool dude, but he just didn't have the it factor. He wasn't an A+ player. He was more like a D- player. It's okay though. So throughout time, I held the TPP title for about a year. I held the tag team titles, and that's it. Those are the only other than the Internet Championship. When Bryson was the Internet Champion. Oh, I'm letting the cat out of the bag now. So Bryson was one of my creations, and the first Bryson incarnation that we had looked a lot like DieHard. People even said that. They were like, man, it looks a lot like DieHard with the shaved head. Well, we came up with an idea to change him up, and that was after Urban Warfare. We had Bryson go AWOL and go AFK. He went away for 4 weeks or whatever, grew his hair out, got a different facial, maybe got some facial reconstructive surgery or whatever, and got a beard, And so that is the Bryson that people know now, with the hair and the beard. But if you wanted to see the old Bryson, you'd watch episode 6 through episode 12 of Frontline, or from episode 6, from the relaunch, all the way up until Urban Warfare would be the old Bryson, where he had the shorter hair, stubble kind of beard thing going on. And then Jerry Graham. A lot of people have asked about Jerry Graham. Like somebody asked, why don't I upload the current Jerry Graham? Why would I not upload? Or why don't I upload the current Jerry Graham? Because the current Jerry Graham is unfinished. And nobody ever got to see it. Because the last Jerry Graham everybody saw had features very similar to what Monroe's were. They had the big full beard thing going on, the kind of crackhead looking face. No offense to Monroe if he watches this, but I'm sorry, but character just looks like a crackhead. Without the mask, total crackhead. But so Jerry Graham was like, he was supposed to do this hobo thing, and of course, my disc cracked, so I released everything that we had through Urban Warfare done. And so we saw Jerry Graham still with the long hair, or the shorter hair, but he still had the full beard. Well, the new look for Graham was shorter. It wasn't the full beard anymore. It was a trimmed beard, and it took me like an hour and a half to reshape his face the right way, because to make his beard look the way that I wanted it to look, like a crackhead beard, like the Jesus beard, to make it look like that, I had to totally defunk and morph his face all fat and shit. So if you took off the facial hair, like if you download Jerry Graham right now, the one that's on Community Creations, I don't know if it's still up there, but if it is, if you download any of them with the full beard and you take off the layers of the beard, his face looks so fucked up as a clean-shaved face. So I literally had to spend like an hour remorphing his face for the smaller, shorter, stubble kind of beard thing that he had going on. But so yeah, Jerry Graham is one of my characters. Lance Owens, of course, was our jobber character that I made. Sage, I made Sage alongside Fifth. Like I came up with the base concept for Sage. Fifth supplied me with the paint tools. Like I gave him the concept ideas for the paint tools, and he brought them to life with the color and stuff. Otherwise, I think they were just black and white, if I'm not mistaken. If I remember correctly, they were just black and white. As well as He worked on Extreme's newer paint tools that nobody really got to see. I wish you guys would have. Darren Trinidad and Rollin Ryder, those were supposed to be like a jobber tag team, but I really liked Trinidad, and I actually really liked Ryder, and I actually changed Ryder recently, which I don't know if I'm ever going to show that to anybody. Trinidad still kind of stayed the same. His paint tools looked really cool. Again, Fifth helped me with those. Who else am I forgetting? Anthony Guerrero Jr., for those of you that don't know, yeah, I played as my son's character. You know, I made his character, but I made his paint tools. Legit, I made his paint tools, and I'm not a paint tooler. I'm just not good at paint tools, but I made them. I made Junior's paint tools. Very proud as shit of that. Oh, the one that everybody wants to know. Who was Adam D. fucking Whitmore? Who was AD Dub? I made Adam D. Whitmore. Like, when, I think it was in like January, I don't know. I think it was in January, maybe. Might have been February. I think it was January, though. And, because we were going to do All-Star Wrestling Entertainment, and I went in with, I was like, well, I'm going to make a new character. And they were like, okay, yeah, cool. So I started working on this guy. He didn't have a name. And then his name then became Adam, or first it was Barry Whitmore, I think. I don't remember what his old first name, but then it was like Adam David Whitmore, right? Because I just played Metal Gear Solid, so I was like, oh, David Hayter, you know? And then I was like, oh, what about Adam David Hayter? And I was like, no, that sounds too much like, you know. So then I started letting my wheels turn, and Adam David Whitmore. But then I was like, no, it needs to be shorter. So Adam D. Whitmore is what I settled on. And from the get-go, I really liked him. I don't know, something about him. He just had like the I'm better than you kind of attitude look to him. But it was basic enough to where anybody could work it. And I've had numerous people play as Adam D. Whitmore, like throughout the times that he's appeared. Numerous people, not just me, has played as Adam D. Whitmore. So I don't even consider him my character anymore. It's more like the community's character. That's how I look at it. Adam D. Whitmore is a community character, just like Jerry Graham. He's a community character. Which, you know, the voice of Jerry Graham, voiced by the one DieHard. And for those of you that don't know, that voice thing first appeared when I was doing a live stream on Call of Duty. I was doing like a trolling thing or whatever. I think it was on Black Ops 2. And I went into this lobby, and there was a whole bunch of like really young kids. And I was like, hey guys, my name's Jerry Graham. You want to play some Call of Duty? You know, some stupid shit like that. But yeah, so, I mean, I had a good chunk of characters that I made, like James Braden. You know, for the longest time, it was played by my brother-in-law. You know, James Braden, my actual brother-in-law in real life. But then he started driving truck over the road, and so he couldn't primarily focus time anymore to playing as his character. So when I took over his character, James Braden went through a change, which is the James Braden that we all know now, with the short hair, the really bigger upper body, the kind of sort of hairy chest thing going on. And ultimately, we kind of made him a jobber. I feel kind of bad that I did that to my brother-in-law's character. But if you guys watch the old TPP stuff and see the old James Braden character, you'd be glad with the change that I made him make. So, you know, it was a good change. And to this day, I'm still secretive about this, but people seem to always ask me this. Who was Adam D. Whitmore and Hanzo Oshihara? Quite possibly two of the hottest prospects up to reckoning. You know, they were super hot on it. Everybody was like really liked them, and I'm really glad that people liked them. I'll tell you this. I was not Cerberus, and I was not Hanzo Oshihara. Those guys, they know who they are. I'm very thankful that they made such creative and ingenious characters. I mean, we're talking these characters, especially when people refer to advanced character creation, these characters are more advanced, or were more advanced than some of the most advanced CODs I've ever seen. Like, you never really got to fully see it, especially with Cerberus, because his matches never called for his entire moveset. Same with Hanzo Oshihara, Because with Hanzo, we did the passive-aggressive style, so we'd have him take a lot of damage, maybe mount a little bit of a comeback, and then either win or lose. You never got to see their full movesets, which you will get to see larger varieties of their movesets on Extinction. But yeah, you never got to see their full movesets. If you would have, you would have really, really loved their characters even more than you already did. Because as much as people say they fucking hated TPP, they hated me, they hated everything I stood for, this and that, they loved those fucking characters. Don't lie about your fucking little personal messages and your direct messages you sent me on Twitter talking about how much you love Cerberus, or the little Skype messages you guys sent me talking about how much you loved Hanzo, or the YouTube inbox message. I don't even know how to fucking inbox people on YouTube. I just got an email with the inbox messages. So don't sit there and try to fucking hate on people just because you got a problem with somebody else. Don't do that, because that makes you a little bitch and it makes you a pussy. And man, I'm loving this, because see, I'm not directly affiliated with anybody anymore. I can say whatever I want. And so if somebody tries to attack somebody else about it, then that means that they're a coward. Because if they can't come right to me and be like, oh, well, I didn't appreciate you saying whatever about me, I don't fucking care. What are you going to do? Tell the YouTube police? Or tell the Twitch police, I guess, because this is on Twitch first. But yeah, so Hanzo Oshihara, good buddy of mine. Cerberus, good buddy of mine. These guys, they did amazing work with their characters. Literally, if there was a perfect Ka, they were perfected. Especially Hanzo's fucking chest tattoo. That shit was fucking amazing. It was awesome. And then let's see. Oh, excuse me. I got all this talking makes my throat hurt. Cause I'm gonna probably wrap up this podcast in like 9 or 10 minutes, because it's like 10 o'clock at night, and as you hear, my voice is getting worse. But I'm gonna do the podcast again next week. Every Wednesday, I'm gonna do it. That's what I'm gonna do. Just a general podcast talking about some random ass shit. Not anything in general. I know I talked a lot about, the WWE game stuff tonight, but that was just kind of letting you guys know where I am. Like, I'm okay that I stepped out. It's not going to break my heart, to see a show die or to see another show go up. Like, I hope that Tiger Pro, I hope they last just for the sake of lasting longer than one episode. But I'm sorry, but I'm not holding my breath. It's just the way it is. So, but yeah. So, if you guys want to send me some questions for next week's podcast, you can submit them to my Ask FM. I turned anonymous questions on, so you Ask FM trolls can go ahead and start trolling it again. But I'm just gonna delete those questions. And then of course you can tweet me at the1DH on Twitter. I love that one. And you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, the TPP2K channel. I started working on another channel, Dr. DH Music. However, YouTube is dicking me around about it. So I don't know what's going on with that. So just the TPP2K channel. And this will be also uploaded on the TPP Frontline channel, just because I'm an asshole and I like uploading my shit twice. That's just the way I roll. What else? Oh, if you ever want to be on my podcast with me, we can talk about whatever you want. We can talk about apples, oranges, guitars, amps, TV, wrestling. We can talk about whatever you want. Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, FIFA, whatever. Whatever you want to talk about, we can talk about it. Doesn't matter. If a couple of people want to be on here, we'll talk general stuff. It doesn't just have to be wrestling. It doesn't just have to be anything in particular. It can be... We can talk about anything. We can talk about anything you want. We can talk about girls, boys, working a job, not working a job, what it was like when I was 20 years old delivering pizza, how much I made in tips, things like that. We can talk about whatever you'd want to talk about. Just, you can contact me on my Twitter at the1DH, or you can, send me a message on Skype at the1DH or the one DieHard. I have two of them. One on my phone and then, one on my desktop. Either one of them. And be like, hey, I'm interested in being on your podcast with you. Be like, okay, well, let's set something up. But But yeah, so that's it for this podcast, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. I hope the sound quality was okay. I didn't renew my XSplit Pro license yet. I have to do that. Maybe, yeah, we can talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Although I'm not big on Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon. But anyways, yeah, Skype me, Twitter me, Ask FM me if you want. Message me on YouTube. You can even send me a message on Xbox. However you want to. If you're interested in me on here, just let me know. I will accommodate it. I don't give a fuck if you're somebody I'm friends with, somebody I'm not friends with. I don't care. I'm not involved in the WWE games community anymore. Like I said, I have 2 more appearances as Christopher Billings, and I will fulfill those 2 more appearances. I gave my word that I would do them, and I will, and I'll get them done. Hopefully, for this person, because I know he's probably listening, I will get them done by the end of this week. I've just been busy the past couple of days. But yeah, so after those 2 appearances, there won't really be any Billings or DieHard wrestling show appearances, but I'll still be doing my podcast. And no matter what, on my tombstone, it's probably not going to say Anthony Guerrero. It's probably going to say DieHard. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be like the 1DH or something like that. But all right, guys, so thanks for tuning in, all 1 viewers of you, or that's what my XSplit says. But yeah, so I will see y'all next Wednesday for the next podcast, because we all love the podcast, right? And like I said, if you're interested in being on it, just let me know, and we'll work something out. And so to all of the memers out there and the trollers, go ahead and start trolling, but make sure to use @the1DH when you do it, because I'd love to see them. Because, if they're funny, I'm going to laugh. But don't get mad if I do the same thing to you. Okay, cause meme, don't get mad when you take a picture of your car and say, is this car, look, this is my car so far, and then I compare it to Cerberus. Okay, don't get mad. All right, guys, I'm DieHard, and I will catch you later.